In this video, we're painting mutated warriors of the Dark Legion.
Hi all and welcome to the cabin. Today I'm painting a Centurion and some Necromutants for the Algeroth faction in Warzone Eternal. Let's get to it.
I've had the chance to play a few games of Warzone Eternal by now, and in my opinion, it's a great rule set. I hope to be able to produce more battle reports in the future, and it's inspiring to see other people play the game around the world. A few weeks ago at Adepticon, Brian, Alex, and the gang held another Eternal Champions tournament, and also released a new miniature in the form of the Nasal. If you're interested in this game, make sure to check out the links in the description and pinned comment below. We have an awesome community over on Discord and Facebook, where the makers of the game participate actively as well. Whether you're an old school fan of Mutant Chronicles or just discovered this game for the first time, you're welcome to come and chat about it. Last time I painted some undead legionnaires, the reanimated corpses that act as brainless cannon fodder in Algeroth's Kohorts. Today it's time for the Necromutants to enter the fray. These are living humans that are brought to the Distortion Chambers and altered into horrific but powerful soldiers that can still think for themselves to an extent. Here's the classic art piece by Paul Bonner, featuring the Belserac rifle, pale green skin, the iconic lipless grins, and wispy grey hair. The Centurion art is similar, but the pants are orange rather than grey, the green skin has a turquoise hue, and the face is more human. Once again, I'm basing my paint scheme on these, so it's time to bring out the brushes and get started. First off, if you haven't seen it already, you should check out the painting guide for the Undead Legionnaires, since I used the exact same recipe here except for the skin and green goggles. So in this video, I won't go over all that again, but instead focus on the new colors I used for details exclusive to these units. Some of the miniatures I'm painting today are the Siocast versions from the Kickstarter, and others are the new 3D printed snap tray versions. For the first batch I painted and filmed, I used Xandri dust as an undercoat. But for the next batch, I instead sprayed them with Leadbelcher and painted all the metallic areas first, which I think was a bit quicker. Let's start with the Centurion. For his skin, I used Sons of Horus green as a base coat since it has a nice turquoise shade to work from. I then washed it all with Coelia green shade, followed by a reapplication of Sons of Horus green. After that, I layered on a 1-to-1 mix of Sons of Horus green and Sybarite green, and then a layer of pure Sybarite green. To highlight the skin, I used Gauze Blaster green selectively. And to bring everything together, I applied a filter of Pterodon turquoise diluted with a lot of contrast medium. I chose Jokero orange as a base coat for the fabrics, and this orange recipe which I'm about to show you was also used on the gun panels for the Belserac rifles carried by the Necromutants. Next up, I washed these areas with Reikland Flesh Shade, and added another layer of Jokero orange. I used Bestigor Flesh for the next layer, followed by a more selective highlight of Ungor Flesh. This time I applied Gryph-hound orange diluted with a lot of contrast medium as a filter. At this stage, you can see that I've painted the rest of the Centurion in the same way as the Undead Legionnaires, and all we have left now is the hair, which I base coated with Abaddon Black. I layered on Mechanicus Standard Grey over each strand, but left the black in the recesses. And here you can see the reddish lights on the armor, which I painted by glazing on Doomfire Magenta in several coats. For the selective highlighting of the hair, I chose Dawnstone. and then finished it off with a filter of Basilicanum Grey diluted with a lot of contrast medium. Time to move on to the Necromutants. For their skin, I started with a base coat of Lauren Forest. As a wash, I used Athonian Camo Shade, and after that I added another layer of Lauren Forest. Next up, I layered on Deathguard Green, and continued with one more layer, this time with Nurgling Green. As my selective highlight, I chose Krieg Khaki, and then finished the skin with a filter of Gut Rip of Flesh diluted with a lot of contrast medium. At this point, you can see that I once again finished the other areas with the same colors as the Undead Legionnaires, and the final detail left is the hair, which I base coated with Storm Vermin Fur. After that, I layered on Grey Seer, but left the base coat showing in all the recesses. Being a bit more selective, I applied Pallid Witch Flesh as a highlight. Finally, I used a filter of Dreadful Visage diluted with a lot of contrast medium. And with that, my Centurion and Necromutants were complete. I based them in the same way as the rest of my army, which you can check out in the Reside painting video if you're interested. I think these sculpts by Bobby Jackson are really nice and capture the look of the original Mutant Chronicles designs of the 90s. Speaking of the 90s, here's a quick look at how the new minis compare to the old school metal ones from 1995, sculpted by the Goblin Master himself, Kev Adams. As you can see, they vary slightly in height, but are a very good match to this slightly larger sculpt from 1998. I had a blast painting these models, and I think the variety in poses and facial details make them look really cool together. Here they are together with my Reside and Undead Legionnaires, which were sculpted by Chad Hoverter. All in all, I have about 64 DP worth of units now, which is more than enough to try out different combos for a standard game of 40 DP. Next, I'm planning to paint the rest of the units currently available to Algeroth, but that will have to wait for another video.
Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Please consider giving the video a like and subscribing to the channel so you don't miss out on future content. We'll see you next time. Good luck with your miniatures.